여러분 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. 타일러입니다. 오늘은 굉장히 특별한 게스트분을 한번 모셔봤는데요. Nice to meet you, Kim Carstensen, right? And welcome to Korea. You flew in today.
Yep.
How many times have you been here? Is it
3-4 times. I've only been ever to Seoul and to Jeju. I mean, Seoul is just incredible. I mean, so big. I mean, first time I was here was just, whoa, what is this? I mean,
yeah.
Such a sprawling engagement and so much energy and so much going on. It seemed really interesting, exciting place.
So right now you are the Director General of FSC, right?
Yeah.
So if you could just give us a brief description of what FSC is and what your role as Director General is, that would be really great.
Yeah. FSC is about forest for all forever. We are about making sure that forests deliver what they can and must deliver to the world. That's about the environment, it's about livelihoods for people who live in the forest, it's about economy from forest products and many, many services that come from the forest. They're so important for us in all ways. We are known as a certification scheme, so we certify products that come from well-managed forests, and we've done that for over 30 years now. What's really special about FSC is that we are owned by our members, and our members are environmental organizations, social groups like trade unions or indigenous peoples, and companies who come together to make sure that they agree on the rules for what is responsible forest management. What does a well-managed forest look like, and how shall we make sure that it maintains its qualities for the future?
So it's very multifaceted.
It's very holistic. We really want to make sure that forests are there for people, social reasons, for environmental reasons, and also for the economy.
And you've been with FSC for quite a while, right? And before that, from what I've heard, you were also with WWF. So you have a very long-standing career. How did you get involved in it in the beginning?
I mean, the first memories I have of it is sitting on my grandfather's lap when I was 3-4 years old, looking at big picture books with animals from Africa, with the tropical forest. I did that, and I really loved it. And then when I became a bit older, I wanted to study biology, and I did at the university because I wanted to sort of understand nature. But I also wanted to protect nature, and I suddenly realized, well, actually, nature is not the problem. I need to understand people. So I became a sociologist in the end. So my background is in sociology, and I wanted to use the knowledge about people to help people to manage nature in a good way. And that is what FSC is all about. So in a sense, I always trained towards a role in FSC.
That's actually really interesting, because it's almost like an interest in nature and the environment in general led you naturally to this idea of stewardship, right? Because FSC, stewardship, this idea of, as humans, how can we interact and relate and manage the environment in ways that are sustainable and that work rather than becoming destructive.
Stewardship is about having this holistic picture of what is actually the good thing here, so that all of the interest in the forest, whether it's a social interest, an environmental interest, or an economic interest, can benefit from the management.
That's very true. I agree with that a lot. And I really hope that more and more people become more interested in FSC and join and really participate in pulling it out more into the market. As you know, I'm a member of FSC, but I'm also a goodwill ambassador for FSC here in South Korea. So do you have anything that you would hope that I do, or something that you expect from me, or advice for me, or what you would like to see me do as a goodwill ambassador?
Well, first of all, thank you for taking that role, because I think that's extremely important, that people who care and that people who have the ability to communicate actually do it. Who can provide a more personal approach to FSC, so that we are not just a theoretical idea, that it's not only about the forest out there, it's also about people actually caring about that, telling the people overall the world that, yes, this is something we all need to care about.
I hope that as an ambassador, I can do that, not just in terms of with the public, but also
But then also explaining what the idea is, right? Yeah. I mean, explaining about the forest, explaining about these different values that the forest has, but also this whole notion of us, FSC, as an organization, being the representatives of people's interest, right? People's environmental interest, people's social interest, people's economic interest, coming together to form what we think is the best thing for us and for the forest. And that thing that it's not just one truth, it's actually people coming together to set the standard. I think that is enormously important and a real strength of the organization. And one thing that would be extremely interesting, I think, in Korea, for instance, right, as a country, if we had people who are interested in FSC come together as members and actually form a vision for how should our forest be managed. Some will come to it from an environmental perspective and say we need to protect much more. Others would come from a social perspective and say we need products that can be helping the people who don't have access to many resources. Economic perspective coming in, we need to get a living out of the forest, etc. If those people could come together and actually form that vision for the forests of Korea, that would be tremendously exciting, I think, and could maybe be a good way of looking at that, and could be a good thing for members to come together around in a country like Korea.
That's a very good point. And just to go off from that is, you mentioned, Asia is sort of the future of the global economy. And with Korea having all this interest in the environment and starting to learn more about FSC, do you think that Korea could play a specific role in Asia? I
see Korea as an extremely innovative country with very big new ideas coming and a great potential for shifting the economy from the old type fossil fueled industrial economy to a much more intelligence-based and circular economy. And I would really hope to see Korea's forests and the intelligence of Korea coming together to help the world on those areas, and FSC could be a tool for that also.
Yeah, wonderful. Well then, we just need to get as many people to join and be members and be very proactive, and I think also, Korea can definitely play a huge role there. With, Korean consumers are really influential, Korean culture is really influential, and Korean companies. I'm hoping today, at the forum that we're going to be having in this space, more and more people also share in that vision. So. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. It was really nice to meet you.
It's been great speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 네, 여러분, 오늘 우리가 이렇게 FSC 산림관리협의회 대표 김 카슨슨이랑 이렇게 얘기를 같이 나눠 봤는데요. 분명히 대한민국이 앞으로 좀 더 지속 가능한 경제, 이런 어떤 순환 경제를 만드는 데 중요한 역할을 할 수 있을 것 같은데, 그 중에 하나가 바로 이제 FSC에 많은 관심을 가지고 함께 하는 부분인 것 같습니다. 여러분들도 FSC에 많은 관심 가져주시기를 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
So I'm here in Korea to be at the Korean Business Forum, and I've really been looking forward to this opportunity to learn more about what's going on in Korea, to see the growth and the opportunities in this country, because I think they are enormous, and I'm really hoping that I can learn a lot more about that, and that people will listen to what we have to bring from the international perspective.
Forests for all,
forever.